According to the Pakistan's neighbor, Pakistan is a terror financing country. And Pakistan is in the Financial Action Task Force Grey List since June 2018 for its malicious activities regarding the terrorism funding and the various other reasons. Pakistan is an unstable country with a quasi-democratical system. Yes, the country have its own prime ministers and the president, but the show is being run by the Pakistan army from back. For Pakistan, one phrase is very popular, which is, a country always have its own army, but for Pakistan, army has its own country. For the Pakistan, terrorism is their state-sponsored policy, and the state sponsored several terrorist organizations since its inception in 1947. It is a proven fact. The state is sponsoring several terrorist organizations like Jaish-e-Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen and the various others. A country which do not have any substantial economy because the Pakistan do not have any manufacturing base. They do not export anything, they import everything including the oil. The nation always depends on grants and the loans from the other countries, especially the China and the Middle Eastern countries. Among them, the Saudi Arabia is very special for them. Recently, the Pakistan economy in shambles due to the burden of the loans, especially from the China, in the name of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Hello everyone, welcome to the Power Academy. In this topic, we will going to discuss what is FATF, why Pakistan should be there in the Grey List, and the recent media report on the Pakistan Grey List stay, why should Pakistan there in the Grey List and remain in the Grey List for the 2022. So to start our discussions, we need to know what is FATF and when it came into being. The Financial Action Task Force is a Paris-based international cooperation review group which includes USA, UK, France, China and India. This is an intergovernmental body, sets international standards to prevent all illegal activities that causes harm to society. This 39-member organization was established by the G7 summit that was held in Paris in 1989 in response to mounting concern over money laundering. At the time in the 1989, the world was in volatile state due to the Cold War between the USSR and West. So it was there to contain the USSR allies. It was the special agenda for the West. But later, the USSR, not the USSR, but the Russia became the part of the FATF. But its work is still same. The FATF is a global watchdog for the money laundering and the terror financing. This organization also prevent the threat posing to the banking system and financial institutions. Originally, the organization and comprises of the 16 members. At the inception, the organization comprises 16 members. Then in 1992, it became a conglomerate of the 28 countries. Then its member increased to 31 in 2000. And today, it comprises of 39 members. So, FATF is an organization which actually oppose the terror financing to any organizations of any terror organizations around the world. It prevents the Pakistan, it prevents the Iran, it prevents the North Korea to gather the money from any sources through the Hawala. So that is why FATF is a very important organization to prevent those countries to invest in the terrorist organization. That is why FATF is there. And the FATF has two lists. One is Grey List and the another is Black List. We need to know what is Grey List and what is Black List. Why Grey List is there and why Black List is there. The term Grey List and the Black List does not even exist in FATF. They are all imaginary lists. Under these two lists, the FATF have the powers, which are the jurisdiction under increased monitoring, high risk jurisdiction subject to a call for actions. And the FATF places a country on the Grey List as a final warning to get it to comply with its directives. The Grey List is like the yellow card on the football field. If a country still refuses to comply, it will be on the Black List by the organization. This is like a red card on the football field. There are only two countries on the blacklist, and those two countries are Iran and the North Korea. Now we will came to know that if a country is in the grey list, then what kind of problems that country will going to face, because several kinds of problems will going to faced by those countries, those who are in the grey list. The first one is the grey list will invite the sanction from the IMF, World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, and there is a high chance to face the sanction from the other countries, especially from the western countries. And the grey list is the warning to a country, and it is the first step towards the blacklist if the country fail to comply the FATF conditions. The countries face the problem in taking loan from IMF, World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, and the loan from the other countries too. The country might face international boycott. The country's investment will go rogue. The country won't be having enough FDI and the FPI to support its own economy. Its economy will be destroyed by these kind of sanctions on those countries. The peoples will have a problem. They will going to face the scarcity of the food. So that is why country have to try not to get into the grey list, but to come out of the grey list. But the Pakistan is not that kind of a country. Those who love to get out of that list, they would love to stay in the list because they are not complying with the FATF conditions. The FATF gave them 27 conditions, but they are not interested to get out of this. But if a country is in the blacklist, then it became the black spot or the black bubble of a country. Black bubble on the world face, because blacklisted country will face the total blackout regarding the investment, and the country won't get loan from any international organization. But then why the Iran and the North Korea is in the blacklist? Because Iran and the North Korea is trying to develop the nuclear weapon. That is why the FATF put into the blacklist. They are not complying with the FATF conditions. They are not agreed to renounce their nuclear goal. They renounce their ballistic missiles goals, and the North Korea is testing the ballistic missile day in and day out. So that is why these two countries are in the blacklist. So most important thing is that why the Pakistan is in the grey list then, and why it is struggling to get out of it. The two words, which is terror financing, the strangling around the Pakistan neck. Pakistan is financing its own terrorist organization, which they formed at the time of its inception. Pakistan was born in 1947. Pakistan was the part of the India, but due to the divide due to the colonial rule, the British divided the India into the three parts, and the Pakistan, West Pakistan and the East Pakistan became in one country. Since then, the Pakistan is trying to build so many different kind of terrorist organization to invade the India in the name of Gajwai Hind. And the two words, that is why the Pakistan is in the grey list. The Pakistan is the home for the most UN designated terrorist, and the Pakistan always lacks will to action against those, because they are not the part of the Pakistan foreign policy. That these terrorist organizations are the part of the Pakistan foreign policy and the internal policy too. This is not the first time Pakistan has been on the list though. The Pakistan was in the list between 2012 to 2015. This country has been subjected to the grey list monitoring before it was taken out, after showing significant progress in improving its regime regarding the anti-money laundering and the combating the terror financing. In 2015, Pakistan has established the legal and the regulatory framework to meet its commitments in its action plan regarding the strategic deficiencies. But due to that effort, Pakistan was again put on the grey list in 2018, and the Pakistan was punished on a serious ground of strategic counter-terrorist financing related deficiencies. Pakistan was handed a list of 27 action points with which it had to comply, but Pakistan failed to comply. It failed to show its progress on the 3 action plans, And those three action plans are: the first one is demonstrating that terrorist financing investigations and prosecution targets the persons and entities acting on the behalf or at the directions of the designated persons or entities. The second one is demonstrating that the terrorist financing prosecution result in effective and the proportionate and dissuasive sanctions. And the third one is demonstrating effective implementations of targeting financial sanction against all 1067 and 1373 designated terrorist organizations, especially those who are acting for or on the behalf of the Pakistan. So Pakistan has to take the action. Pakistan has to comply with those three action plan. If they failed to comply with those three action plan, Pakistan should remain. Pakistan should be continued in the FATF Grey List on the upcoming plenary session in the Paris from 21st February to the 4th March in this year 2022. The FATF official had also noted that it still failed to prosecute and confiscate their assets of the UN designated terrorist organization like the Hafiz Saeed. So in this case, the Pakistan main effort will be convince the FATF that it has delivered on all the high level commitments it had made to the FATF, not just in terms of tightening the domestic rules and the regulations, but also in terms of successful prosecution and the punishing people involved in the money laundering and the terror financing. That is very important. Pakistan has to stop the terror financing. This is the simple reason for the Pakistan being in the grey list, that the Pakistan deep state led by the ISI and the army is at the forefront of carrying out illegal terrorist activities in India and around the world. They are also promoting the money laundering and the terror financing. Whatever the terrorist attack happened all around the world, the Pakistanis are involved. The Pakistan origin terrorists are involved in those attacks. And we would like to give you some direct dirty act performed by the Pakistan deep state. When a British Pakistani man, Mohammad Gohir Khan, has been charged for trying to assassinate the dissident blogger who is Ahmed Wakas Goroa, based in the Netherlands. So the Pakistan tried to eliminate the Ahmed Wakas Goroa by using this man who is Gohir Khan. So this is the proof, this is the burning proof which the FATF have. And this leads to the questions of reopening the inquiry in the death of the Karima Baluch. Who is Karima Baluch? She is an ardent campaigner for an independent Baluchistan whose body was found in a lake in the Canada in December 2020. So these kind of proofs are there in the hands of the FATF through different kind of organizations, those who feed the FATF. If these kind of things go into the hand with a proof into the hands of the FATF, then Pakistan should and must remain in the FATF Grey List. If it will come out of the Grey List, then it will do the massacre by using the terrorism. So according to my view, the Pakistan have to develop its nation through the education and the investment. There is no other alternative plan. Without education and the investment, a state cannot develop. The state have to stop funding the terrorist organization Harkatul Mujahideen, Jamaat-ul Mujahideen, Jamaat-e-Islam. So this kind of organization have to be stopped doing the terrorist activities throughout the world and in India. They are the victim of their own created snakes. They created the snakes and their snakes are biting them back. They are being attacked by the Baloch Liberation Army because the Pakistan did not do anything for them. Pakistan have a gas reserves in Balochistan. There are plenty of gas reserve in the Balochistan, but the Pakistan Punjab province gets all the facilities regarding the gas services. But the Balochistan's own population, the indigenous Baloch, do not get the luxury of getting the gas from its own reserves. So that is why the Balochistan peoples have created an organization which is called the Balochistan Liberation Army, and So many events has been happened, terrorist event, attack has been happened on the Pakistani army. The 120 Pakistani army has been killed by the Baluchistan organization, Baluchistan Liberation Army. So these kind of dissidents is being happening since the inception of the Pakistan. The Pashtos are not happy with the Pakistan, and the Kashmiris are not happy with the Pakistan. Gilgitis are not happy with the Pakistan. They want the freedom from the Pakistan, because Pakistan is a not a democratic state. It is autocratic state run by the army, and all the shows are being run by the army. That is why they loot everybody. They loot everything from the Pakistani population. The Pakistan laws are like the banana republic. They have the blasphemy law. Because of that law, the Pakistan mob killed innocent people in the name of the religion. Recently, a Sri Lankan man was killed by the Pakistani mob. Recently, a mentally retarded man was killed by the Pakistani mob, and the Pakistan police watched in the shadow, enjoyed that event. So this is a banana republic. Pakistan has to resolve this kind of problem. If they cannot resolve this kind of problem, there is no way they are going out of this FATF mess. The Pakistan terrorist organization Jaish-e-Mohammed, responsible for the 26/11 Mumbai attack, and the Jaish-e-Mohammed leader, the Masood Azhar, is kind of a leader who is living a luxurious life under the protection of the Pakistani army. And JEM top leaders Azhar, Mir and the Rauf Asghar living king-size life in the Pakistan. And the Dawood Ibrahim, the Mumbai attack mind, 1990s Mumbai attack, that man is also living in the Pakistan, in the Karachi. So Pakistan is the den of the terrorists and the terrorisms and the terrorist organization. So Pakistan must be there in the grey list, if possible in the blacklist. Pakistan should be transferred to the blacklist to punish them harshly and for indefinite amount of time until they rectify their internal system. They have to rectify their internal system through some kind of laws. They have to generate some kind of law. They have to revoke the blasphemy law. Without revoking the blasphemy law, the Pakistan won't have any investment from outside countries, because all the companies around the world will have the fear that if something go wrong, then the Pakistani mob will kill them. These kind of things are happening frequently in Pakistan. That is why nobody would be interested to invest in Pakistan, at least directly. Indirectly, there are very small investment through the FPI is coming into the Pakistan, but that is very small. Pakistan is only a $239 billion economy, which is very low for the country which has the populations of 22 crore, and its debt to the GDP ratio is huge, which is 87%, around 87%. So the Pakistan whole economy is in shambles. They are dying. Their economy is dying. So they will going to lose the whole country. Their country will going to get disintegrated if this kind of things is going on. Now we have came to the first question. The first question is, on which date and the year the Article 370 and 35A was removed from Indian Constitution? The first option is 6th August 2019. Second is 5th August 2019. Third is 7th August 2019. Fourth is 5th August 2020. And the second question is, which of the following is the world highest battlefield? The first one is Siachen Glacier. Second one is Kardu. Third one is Khardungla. Fourth one is Distagil Sar. If anyone have any question regarding this topic, of anyone and every question regarding any topics which I have published till this day, they can freely ask me any kind of questions which is related to the study, related to the knowledge. Please do not ask me the questions which is not related to the topic. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.